Hi, I'm here with Kevin Fitzsimmons from WSI. WSI helps small and medium-sized businesses with their internet strategy. Kevin, can you tell me a little bit more about WSI and what they do?
Yeah, WSI is an internet company that was started basically back in the mid-90s. That doesn't seem that long ago, but in the internet world, it's quite a long time. What WSI does is we help small and medium-sized businesses, actually these days large businesses also, with their internet strategy. Anything from web development to marketing on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Tell me, what's the difference between just putting up a website on the internet and actually marketing that website or making that website work for you?
You know, I think what most people go through is going, well, I need a website. So they put one up. You know, sometimes it's created by a high school kid. Don't get me wrong, some of these high school kids can do some really neat stuff. But what I find most of the time is, what is a website? It's really just a tool for your overall marketing. So you really need to look at your strategy for what that website's going to do. Obviously, the Googles of the world and the Yahoos and even the YouTubes of the world, it's important that you show up well on those. There are 40,000 new domains bought every day.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how many websites go up every day, but if there's 40,000 new domains, there's thousands of websites being launched every day. You know, so it's really important, if you build a good website, it's got the right look and feel, but if nobody can find it, really what was the point? Unless you're a larger company, you have a lot of marketing dollars that you can drive people toward that really cool, neat website that you built. What we try and do is help reduce your marketing cost by doing some things within internet marketing.
And that brings up several points. I mean, as a business owner, putting up a website, ultimately they run into terms like search engine optimization and how to utilize, or how do I utilize social marketing and YouTube, and all these things start swirling around business owners' heads, and how do you tackle that?
Well, what I try and do when I first come in and talk to a potential new business is I try and do an education, and I kind of put everything under internet marketing. So some of those terms you just threw out there, like search engine optimization and search engine marketing, the YouTubes of the world, all come under internet marketing. How do you effectively utilize the web? All right, so your website needs to be search engine optimized. And what we mean by that is each page of your website have what it's really about. So you might be selling widgets on one page, you want to really talk about widgets. You might be selling pens on another page. I know I'm being very arbitrary, but you can really do neat things. So if you think of your website as each page of your website being an individual website, because if you notice, you don't always land on the home page of a lot of websites. And then from search engine optimization, you have to look at things like pay-per-click advertising. A lot of people are referring to it as AdWords.
Mm-hmm. So it's a real cat fight out there.
Yeah, it really is. Is that your cat?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. He seems to be very lively today. Anyway, so you can utilize a combination of search engine optimization with pay-per-click advertising to really do what you need to do from a search standpoint. But then you get into things like YouTube. You know what, we'll probably take this video that we're shooting here and put it on a YouTube. And believe it or not, you're able to optimize those. If you notice today when you're doing search, you're seeing a lot of videos pop up in your search. Mm-hmm. You know, so you go into Google, and as most people know, YouTube is owned by Google. So that's why you're seeing a lot of them show up. YouTube is just part of what we call social media optimization. All right, so you're going to hear things like Facebook and LinkedIn and MySpace. All right, you're going to hear terms like Flickr. You know, what do you do with all of these? And then you have social bookmarking that you have to be concerned with. How do you use the digs and the read-its and the stumble-upons of the world properly? Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. We come in and we work with a client and we work with the search engine marketing, social media optimization, and then we try and tie it all together for them with analytics. You need measurement to know what's going on with the web. And that's the neat part about advertising and marketing today, is in the past, in traditional media, your measurement was not as strong as it can be via the web.
Oh, I see. So now you can actually look and see how many minutes people spend on your page, what page they
Right.
go to, do they look at your website and then leave right away? And
Right,
so
and that's,
then,
yeah, I mean, what you're referring to, that last point, is their bounce rate. And it's very interesting because a lot of times we'll inherit a website from somebody else, and they'll say, do you think I have a good website? And my typical answer is, I don't know. I don't know if you have a good website. But when we put analytics into their site and really look at it, and we see that they have a bounce rate of 70, 80%, which means they came to the site and left right away, that's a problem. That means people don't like their website. Mm-hmm. In some cases, there are some changes that we can make. In other cases, we have to build a brand new website for them. But it's not just me looking or someone looking at a website saying, does this work or doesn't this work?
so it's not an arbitrary opinion, or
Absolutely
it's not
not.
subjective. It's
right. And then within the analytics, it's really neat what you can find out. You can see the towns that people came from. All right. So if you're a local business and all of you, and you're on the East Coast and all your hits are coming from the West Coast, well, it's probably not doing you any good. You can see how, as you stated earlier, how long is somebody spending on your website. So if people are only spending 30 seconds on your website, again, you may have a problem. Mm-hmm. But if they're spending 2, 3, 4 minutes with high-speed internet and everything that's going on, you're probably getting quite a bit of business out of the internet.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's touch on what makes a good website. What is...
Well, obviously you have to have
fundamentals.
The fundamentals. Obviously you have to have the right look and feel. You have to have navigation that makes sense. There are a lot of websites that were developed years ago that have navigation that people aren't used to. And you'll find on those websites that the bounce rate is very high. You want to be careful using Flash on your websites. That's where there's a lot of movement. Mm-hmm. Typically, the search engines can't really see that, so that's going to hurt your rankings being indexed. And then you want to be careful, that it's like the foundation of your house. If the navigation, somebody comes in and goes, oh, I can get from here to here. You want to give people multiple ways to get to different parts of your website. And you want them to be able to logically go from one page to the next, where hopefully you get a conversion. And you might say, well, what's a conversion? Well, conversion might be a phone call. It might be one of your forms being filled out. What happens with your forms? You may just be asking for their email address to send them a newsletter. Mm-hmm. Or it may be where it's an e-commerce site where they're actually buying a product. But it really needs to be well thought out. So when we typically build a website with somebody, is we try and compartmentalize the whole process for them. The typical part is we work with the look and feel and the navigation first. And then we have our production people kind of tie that all together. And then the hard part is actually putting the content in, going, great, we have a 25-page website, what do you want to put on these pages?
Right.
All right. But
that would seem to me to be a stumbling block.
Well, what I recommend...
A roadblock.
Right. What I recommend to some businesses, give us the bullet points and we'll have one of our copywriters write it for you, saying, in general, what do you want on these pages? And then we'll have a professional copywriter do it for you. Mm-hmm. And the other thing you want to remember is your website doesn't have to be all of a sudden one day it's not there and the next day it's done completely. Your website's going to be something that's growing and evolving and constantly changing. Again, Google likes changing content. So if you put a website up and never change anything, you may move to the front of the search engines, page 1 of Google, that nirvana place that everybody wants to be. But if you never make any changes, they will slowly move you back down. Right? And you might wind up on page 4 or 5, which really doesn't do you any good. If you're not on the first couple pages, you're probably not getting a whole lot of success with the search engines.
Right. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that changing content and having the website evolve would keep you up there.
Well, Google doesn't want static content. And again, I keep referring to Google. Google's kind of the king of the internet right now, but Yahoo, MSN, you have to be concerned with them also. But typically, if you take care of Google, the others will
A lot
follow
in the
suit.
past few minutes just talking to you.
Great. No, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, how would people get a hold of you?
Simply, you can go to our website, Custom WSI Solutions, or you can call us at 215-716-3043. Or, if we actually concentrate in the Philadelphia area, but we do have clients all over the country. But there are WSI offices all throughout the country. So, and they can help you just like we can.
Great. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.